Shalom, everybody. This is Dave from Universal Truth and Mankind, and I am your host for Kabbalah 301. You hear my voice a little coarse. Pollen season is starting to hit a little bit, so my voice is a little deeper. Actually, I like it. It makes me feel a little more manly. Um, this usually the three of us get together, meaning Tom, Ross, and myself, for a discussion. Due to circumstances beyond our control, we were not able to meet lately. So I'm going to do a couple of videos in the interim to try to introduce you a little more to the actual material that we deal with and help you better understand what tools we use, what's out there that we can that give us clues that there's more to the Hebrew texts than the English translation. Um, I hopefully these will be beneficial for you. So please stand by and learn a little bit here, and this will be helpful for next time when you actually get another discussion. You better understand how we're operating. Before I start, please like and share these videos. Please subscribe to not only, well, if you're on YouTube or Rumble, also subscribe on the other, be on both, because sometimes I had problems with YouTube. Recently, I had a problem with YouTube trying to upload things. It wasn't working out well. So for a few hours, I only had the videos on my Rumble account. So it behooves you to be on both. It's good to have redundancy. Remember, these videos are all free. I'm asking nothing from anybody. So feel free to share them. Okay. The first thing I want to touch on, and this will help you better understand how Ross, Tom, and myself sync up with each other, how we become a unity, and we each have a totally different view of what we are actually doing. Now, in front of you, you see the book of Genesis, Genesis 1:1, which is right here. And you will see that underneath it, I have the Hebrew. And on the right-hand side, you see what the actual texts are. So I'm going to show you a couple of things about verse 1:1 so you understand the things that we look for in our discussions. Now, like I said, Ross, Tom, and myself, we look at it from three different approaches. And I will be explaining more of that in future videos. But let's take a look at this verse for one moment. Now, you see the English on top. It says, "When God began to create heavens or heaven and earth." Now, if we take a look at the Hebrew, there's some issues at hand. Remember, English translation is an awful translation for the Hebrew. It always behooves you to look at the Hebrew. I'll give you one example. If you take a look at the translation, look what they did. They put Elohim and then Bereshit. In other words, I'm sorry, you see, we're reading from left to right with the English. So we have to read the Hebrew from left to right, although the individual words are right to left. Okay. So we see Elohim, which is translated as God, which I don't agree with, by the way. And it says, then after that, Reshit, the beginning. So, and then they say bara. Bara word typically translated as create. So it is saying that Elohim here began to create. Now, is that wrong as a translation? No. But take a look at the Hebrew. It says, forget the first character here. I'm covering it over. Reshit, beginning. Beit means, in a sense, in the beginning. Created Elohim. Now, that's a very different story that's being told. Essentially, when we're taking a look at the Genesis 1 here, it doesn't matter if you look at King James Version or NIV or any version out to NASB, NAS. If you take a look at it from the interlinear perspective, they all say in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, but they're implying that. But here's the issue with this particular verse that we're dealing with. It says, in the beginning created Elohim. It is saying that Elohim here was part of creation, was created. You heard me right. It was created. Now, just to give you a quick understanding of that, you can say there's the brains and the brawn. Okay, you can say Elohim was the brawn to do the creating, but the brawn doing the actual creating, the brains is back here to actually start the creation. So Elohim is part of the creative process, part of creation, but you don't see that in the English translation. So those are the type of things we look for. They also, in this particular verse on the left-hand side, you will see a resheet. They ignore the bait. Where's the bait? Because bait means in. And there's so much more I could read into this. But this is one example for you to take a look at and go, oh, wow, this is unusual. So those are things that Ross, Tom, and myself look for. Because as a result of translating this into English, now anybody with any religion can drive a bus through what's actually being said here and create their own religious dogma, their own religious agenda, their own religious beliefs that are simply not there, interestingly enough. But I wanted to share this with you. And have a great day. Contemplate these things. And I'll cover more about us three getting together, what we're actually covering. This is just the beginning. Take care, everybody. Shalom, shalom.